We bout that business, that business. Boy, we bout that business. It get real up in that field, but got built by that business. That business, that business. Boy, we bout that business. This all hustle, this ain't luck. Lady Buck about that business. We bout that business, that business. We trending on retreat. We bout that business, that business. All we know is win, ain't no defeat. We bout that business, that business. Competition can't compete. We bout that business, that business. Number one, I feel it in my cleats. Hey, we got facts, we got stats. Not to mention trending topics. You the champ? No, that's cap. Drilling, killing all the guys. Please don't try that, boy. You know we hotter, boy. Making all kind of noise. We on fire. What you know about them Ohio boys? We bout that business, that business. Boy, we bout that business. It get real up in that field, but got built by that business. That business, that business. Boy, we bout that business. This all hustle, this ain't luck. Lady Buck about that business. We bout that business, that business. We trending on retreat. We bout that business, that business. All we know is win, ain't no defeat. We bout that business, that business. Competition can't compete. We bout that business, that business. Number one, I feel it in my cleats.
Yeah. Hey, family, we back. It's that Monday, what you call it, the aftermath of what happened over the weekend in college football. We're gonna talk about all the great games that happened and not some good games that happened. And then we're going to get right into the college football playoffs. Man, I'm telling you, if you didn't watch any games this weekend, we're going to inform you about what happened, why it happened, and why everybody is seated properly other than Notre Dame. Hey, Lady Buck, what's going on with you, man, out there, man? Talk to me today. Get me rocking and rolling today, because I'm about this business tonight.
Okay, because it sure is a lot to talk about. You know, you got teams opting out and, refusing to play. You got other teams, really upset that there's some other teams that are in the playoffs. These playoffs are really interesting. It's really upsetting some fan bases and making some other fan bases happy. So we need to talk about that. We have a lot to talk about tonight. So we'll start with these playoffs. These playoffs games are going to be very, very interesting. But I got some questions for you, Buckeye Bill. And I got some things to say, of course. We know what happened over the weekend. We had a big upset, and we'll talk about that later, too. Not that we want to keep talking about it, but, hey, it's part of the story, okay? First, business is business. Please, we're almost there. We're at 300 and something followers. We need 500, and we need more than that. But please share. Share this with at least 5 people that you know like sports, that want to come and talk some crap. Remember, everybody's welcome. Doesn't matter what team you root for. You can always come and talk some crap with us and talk some football. So help us reach, the 500 followers, please.
The show is yours. The show is yours. The platform is yours. Come on, guys. Let's get it rocking and rolling up in here. Let's go.
And keep in mind, I want to thank all the supporters that we have thus far. We have some regulars that come on the show, that always watching. Definitely appreciate you. Much love to the Ohio Podcast, who always shouts us out. We want to shout you out today. And the Buckeye ladies, who are partnering with us and helping us.
And
we appreciate all the help. Yeah, we
Buckeye
appreciate
Lounge.
all the help.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
so now, let's get down to that business.
He's a great promoter of Buckeye Nation. He's been wonderful in our journey, and I really appreciate you, brother. Beechcroft, Columbus, Ohio. Thank you very much, son.
Okay, let's get down to that business. Also another shout out. I want to give some shout outs, some personal shout outs. People who've been rocking with us for day one. Blue Nitty. Okay, Blue Nitty, Hayes McClendon, Encore Kicks, Daryl Rutherford, and the Notorious Cepeda Coop, who's a dog. She liked them Georgia dogs. And I want to welcome to the new people that are rocking with us too. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So, all right, Buckeye Bill.
Let's get to business.
This is how the bracket looks right now. These are the playoff teams. And let's go each by each. I mean, it's very interesting. If you have not heard, I'm sure if you're a football heads like we are, we know you don't see a team that you probably thought you would see, Notre Dame. They opted out not to even go to the bowl game they were selected for. So we'll talk about that. We also don't see Texas. Okay. So we'll talk about those as we go down the line and see why it's such a big deal for these teams. So, Buckeye Bill, let's talk about Oklahoma versus Alabama, okay, in the playoff game. First of all, do you think either one of these teams deserve to be there?
Well, here's the thing. You what the committee was looking at was formidable foes. Oklahoma beat Alabama. Okay. Now Alabama got beat by Georgia, which pushed them down into their slot that they're in. For what would you call it? Intriguing matchups. An Oklahoma Alabama game for the first round is great for TV. It's not good for Indiana because either one of those teams can come in and do some damage to Indiana. Oklahoma has been out of the limelight for a while. Alabama is losing their luxury, their grip on the SEC because Georgia, of course, Texas A&M and TCU, and possibly Ole Miss might even creep up into the conversation next year. So when with them not having a great recruiting their recruiting was not that great this year. Alabama's going to fall to the wayside compared to these other teams. So I think the war is going to opt out after they lose to Oklahoma, and he's going to take his talents to Penn State. So what say you?
So the Bama fan base is elated, that they were chosen. However, you have other teams, even though Miami's in, Miami took a shot at Bama. Of course, Notre Dame and Texas took a shot at Bama and said, hey, they don't belong there. And this is a team with 3 losses.
They didn't belong there.
So, it's kind of, a lot of football heads are saying, hey, how do we justify Bama's role in this, or their spot in this playoff? There's not a lot of people who think that they deserve to be there. So
you see where the seeding is, though. You see the seeding. They are matched up against Oklahoma. Okay, the revenge factor against getting beat by Oklahoma earlier in the season, and I believe that Oklahoma beat Alabama early in the season. Am I correct or no?
I can't remember
So
if that was
anybody want to dispute that? Call in. Let me know that I'm wrong. So the intriguing matchup with Oklahoma and Alabama was one of the committee's thoughts about how to keep Alabama into the conversation. Now, Alabama did not deserve to be there with losing one out of conference and 2 in conference games. So no, they didn't deserve to be there, but they want to say they can't penalize them for taking the bid to go into the SEC championship. Well, they could have said, "I don't want to do that. I want to keep to the record that I have right now and let somebody else go." So they have options. So with that being said, you went there, you got mollywopped by Georgia, and they still kept you in the playoffs. That's why Oklahoma is favored over Alabama, because they're reeling right now. They're reeling. They're reeling. Alabama should not even have been there. That game should have been Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. That's what I think. Should have been Vanderbilt and Oklahoma in that first round, period. That's it. Hands
Okay,
down.
so
Notre Dame is on a different level, but for this particular game, it should have been Oklahoma, Vanderbilt.
so in defense of Bama, this is what I've been hearing is that we can't penalize them, even though they lost their game. They lost their conference championship game. We can't penalize them for playing when there were teams that did not play that are in the playoffs, and that was the committee's reasoning for adding them in. How do you feel about that? Is there is doing away with the conference playoffs an option? I'm sorry, conference championships an option, or
Oh,
if you
it's definitely on
I
the
don't
table.
because I don't think they were penalizing. I don't think the opposing fan bases are not penalizing them for playing their game, their conference championship game. But what they're doing is saying, hey, there's 3 losses there. There's 3 losses. And then the way they lost their game, I mean, is why they're saying they shouldn't be there, especially over Notre Dame. I think I understand Notre Dame's feelings. I don't know if I would have opted out, as a program. But I understand the frustration, with Bama being in and them being out. How do you feel about that?
Well, see, here's the thing. And then we're just in that first tier of the conversation. But at the end of the day, um, at this point, and what they're showing, the committee is showing us, is the conference championship actually doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Showing up and being there does not give you the right to be in the playoffs. So, like, okay, let's the argument was, well, Ohio State played Indiana. Well, Ohio State and Indiana was 1-2. Alabama was what, 18, 17, whatever they were ranked. They got into the conference championship off of a fluke, and then they got mollywopped. So they should not have been anywhere near the playoffs. That's why we talked about it earlier about having a second tier playoff, like the NIT. So we'll talk about that later on in life. But the point is, Alabama should have never been in the playoffs at all, bar none. That position should have been for Vanderbilt, bar none. That's what I think.
Okay, so let's do some preliminaries here. Even though these aren't going to be our final predictions, guys, we're just throwing some things out in the air. Who you got between Oklahoma and Alabama? Who you think
I'm
is going
taking
to
Oklahoma.
You think
I'm
Oklahoma
taking
will beat Alabama?
Oklahoma because I watched what Alabama could not do with Georgia. Okay, and what they haven't done over the last 4 to 5 weeks, which is run the ball and actually have accurate passing. They only got the one receiver, and I think he got dinged up in in the Georgia game. So you only got Williams. Georgia really exposed Alabama. Oklahoma, I'm going to say Oklahoma 35 to 17. It shouldn't be a good game. I don't. most of these first rounds aren't going to be good games for nobody. So don't pack your lunch up to say or don't miss work to watch these games because they're not going to be great because the committee did not align with what the sentiment was for the fan base of any fan base to match up the right teams against each other to play for the national championship. That's all.
Okay. So, and then we'll go to the right side of things um, a little bit later. I'm going to construct it in a way that we talk about um, if, ands, and buts on that right side. So let's go down. Oregon and JMU. Now, we're going to talk about JMU and Tulane because they're the topics of the discussion that they're in, but Texas and Notre Dame is not in. And if you're looking at the best teams in the country, they feel like these guys can't really compete. But we'll talk about that as well. So JMU, Oregon, who you got?
So they won the group of five, and they won their game. But you cannot put them in and leave a Notre Dame out. Okay, and the reason why I say that is Notre Dame and Oregon is a better draw. First of all, if we're talking about politics and money and things of that nature, but visually, in Oregon, Notre Dame, first round, having the opportunity to play at Texas Tech, that's intriguing to me because either one of those teams, Oregon can definitely win and beat Texas Tech. And if Notre Dame was to be in there and beat Oregon, can give Texas Tech a run. Even if a fluke happened and James Madison beat an Oregon, that second round, the semifinals, I mean, no, and no. So, I mean, what the committee did was they allowed to do what it was structured to do, which was allow the group of five to get into the playoffs. But what they don't understand is, first of all, monetary basis, and then the visual. What they should have done was anybody who was left out of the top 12 is seeded in another playoff, like the NIT, seeded, and then they play for that championship and they get the right next year to be considered into the playoffs if they have a great season. That's the only way to not go to a 16 or 24 or 65 field. You separate the divisions. So yeah, James Madison should have never been in there. That should have been Notre Dame, and they screwed up. That's all that happened. They know they screwed up. They're gonna have to fix it now, but they screwed up, and conference championship criteria have to change also. You cannot have a Duke 7-5 win the ACC championship and not make it to the playoffs, and then put Miami, who deserving of it, don't get me wrong, into the playoffs, and they didn't play the game. So there's a lot of politics. There's a lot of, and I don't do politics. There's just a lot of dumbness going on in the committee where it's confusing the masses and all the fandom and not understanding, well, what is the criteria to get into the playoffs, the top 12. Because if you're a number 11 and don't make it, that makes no sense. So so that's if you see the number 11 in the AP poll and you fall out, which is Notre Dame, fall out because James Madison actually won their conference, and that's the group of five. It doesn't make sense that a top ranked team like that will fall out of the playoffs because a group of five who has less of any appeal and less of any kind of record to be in there over a Notre Dame. Period. That's it. That's all. There it
So,
goes.
okay, so I'm assuming that Oregon is your pick for that matchup. And don't get us wrong. Now, see, I get the fact. I get why. I get the why. Every team that does well deserves exposure. So I get it. I get the exposure it's going to give JMU. I get the exposure it's going to give Tulane. And I have a special interest in Tulane, and I'll talk about that when we get there. But I get it. I just want to make sure, are we doing a disservice to them, or are we, is it helping them? Is it really giving the kind of exposure they need when you put them up against these bigger teams? What say you? I mean, if you have some more information you want to shed on this, that's just my opinion. I just want to make sure it's the right exposure. Let's move down.
So no. But let me tell you. So say for instance, they did have an NIT playoff. Okay, Tulane and James Madison will have buys. They'll be at the top of. They'll be in that top four, along with Notre Dame and a Texas. You get my point? So their exposure would be granted for exposure because now you're in the same tier as some of the top teams in the nation, alongside like a Texas, Notre Dame, Virginia. If Virginia would have been, they would have been in it, and then Tulane and James Madison is in the same brackets. They could still play good games that would make the bowl games more interesting. So if you're talking about money and you're talking about exposure, you need to go, instead of expanding the playoffs, have a second tier playoff where whoever don't make it in the top 12 gets reseeded. And then that and whoever wins that conference, I mean that playoff, has, if they run the table the following year, they have a James Madison or Tulane position in the playoffs. Does that make sense or no? Anybody come in, please call me and let me know what I'm talking about. That makes sense to me. Because Notre Dame is trying to tell everybody, we didn't make it in this year, we better have a position next year. Well, bro, if you don't play a bowl game, you don't hone your skills for next year, you doing a disservice to your seniors, your freshmen, and all your incoming recruits, because you're not playing an extra game and preparing for an extra game. It's a lot of moving parts in this one right here, but my solution, again, I will tell you, is to have an NIT college football playoff. That's it.
So, okay, That sounds like a good idea, and I'm sure it would take years for them to do this. It took
No,
years
they
for
can
us
do
to
it
get
in a
playoff.
heartbeat. They can do it next year if they
Well,
wanted to.
they could,
No,
but
it's all they have to do is do it.
remember how long it took for us to get a playoff. So that's my
But the
point.
playoffs are already set. This right here is a secondary playoff. All you have to do is put the bylaws down and make the criterias what it is. If you don't make it into the top 12, you get seeded at the top. And that what gives other teams, Jacksonville, um, uh, um, University of South Florida, another chance to make it to the top. So if you get a Heartline is going to take over University of South Florida. Give them an opportunity to make it to win the NIT in college football. Their next step is to get into the top 12 because now you're seeded to be in the top 12, and there won't be a James Madison, there won't be a Tulane. It'll be top-notch teams playing in the top-notch brackets and playoffs. You got to work it out. It's just you can't dismiss a great team like Notre Dame who has Jeremiah Love, who is up for the Heisman Trophy, not in the playoffs. That's crazy. It makes no sense.
Well, yeah,
That's just a me problem.
yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay, so moving on, we got Texas A&M, and then we got Miami, who they were sitting outside the bubble, and they were very pleased that they got in. How do you feel about Miami being in this playoff?
Very, very intriguing. 1992, I think, when we beat that tail, and Miami fans have been looking for a repeat with Ohio State ever since then. We've never been scheduled to play each other after that game. I think this one is it's a headbanger for me. Texas A&M. Listen, I'd love for Texas A&M to play Ohio State, but I think Miami's going to beat Texas A&M just so they can touch and taste a little bit of Ohio State and get that revenge factor. Miami getting in is good for college football. Is Notre Dame getting in would have been great for college football, but Miami being there and getting an opportunity because no, they didn't win the ACC, but they was the best team in that conference. And no question, they were the best team. And Virginia wasn't the best. Duke was not the best. Clemson never even stood on the doorstep of getting in the conference championship game. So Miami deserves to be there. I can't wait to see them play Texas A&M. I'm taking Texas A&M just so we don't have to face a Miami. But if we have to face a Miami, we're going to have to give them the business.
And we will. I'm not scared to face Miami. I'm scared to face
no, I ain't. No. We're going to give them the business, baby.
So,
yes, sir.
So you believe that Miami will go in because of the passion, the heart, the hunger that they have for what we did to them. I think that was 2002. I can't remember.
I don't know when it was. I thought it was not. It probably was. It couldn't have been that far back, 1992. So
yeah, no. But
yeah.
you think they'll? But
I was still in Pampers back then. Shoot, so it couldn't have been that far back.
No, you wish you was in Pampers back then. So, but Texas A&M, I can say all through the season has been playing great. The last game they played, they surprised me. They didn't play as well. So, I probably would have said earlier in the season, I think Texas A&M got something for them. But I'm thinking this is going to be a good game. I think this is going to be one of
This
the
is going to
most.
be one of the best games of the
Yeah,
whole first round.
I think so too. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be great. I think these teams are evenly matched. I
Yes,
don't.
they are.
I think they are. I think they'll give each other time. Um, okay. All right. Before we start talking about Ole Miss and Tulane, let me give a shout out to Miss Keisha Drame. Her son is a starting freshman on the defense,
Starting freshman.
and that is yes. His name is
Starting freshman.
Palandine Drame. Look for him. He's a starting freshman. He's on the defense. They are excited because they've made it into these playoffs. So congratulations to you, Pa.
Congratulations, big
Um,
brother.
wow, I
You're going to
remember
do
when he was.
well. You're going to do well, man.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see him. Be watching for him. So now, but we got to report the business. So Ole Miss and Tulane. Who you got?
Man, you just said that my surrogate nephew is playing for Tulane, and I love him, and I want him to do well. I actually want him to get at least a sack and at least 3-4 tackles. But
Yeah,
Ole
I
Miss
believe
is
you
getting
will.
ready. Ole Miss is going to do some damage to them. It's the matchup's not good, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Ole Miss has already beat Tulane this year.
Oh,
So in that game, the matchup wasn't well. This can be a wake-up call for Tulane and their recruiting process to try and get some people in Tulane that can compete with an Ole Miss or Texas Tech or Texas A&M and play an LSU, because they do have a great program. It's a small program, but they have a good culture. And so I'm looking forward to that game. I don't see it being um, a close game, but Ole Miss, they have to beat Tulane. They have to beat them, and then of course, I want them to beat them so they can play Georgia and beat the snot out of Georgia. So that's how that's supposed to work for me.
okay.
That's the me problem. Like I said, that's all a me problem. It's not a you problem.
All right, let's go back up. And I want to do some if, ands, and buts. So, Oklahoma, Alabama. If Oklahoma wins, they will see Indiana. And that's the semifinals or semi,
Yes,
what do they call it? The semifinals, right?
semifinals and
Yeah.
uh,
Well, if it's
uh,
not, that's what it's going to be tonight. So the
semifinals.
semifinals. So
Okay.
now, let me ask you this. Now, if Oklahoma beats Alabama and they see Indiana, who wins that matchup? Oklahoma and Indiana.
Oh, I'm taking Indiana off the rip.
You
Off the
taking
rip.
Indiana?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
off the rip. Off the rip. First of all, Alabama's gonna beat, no matter what, those two teams are gonna beat each other up. And they're gonna play one week and then the week next. So there's going to be some injuries involved in both on both teams. So if Oklahoma wins, and say for instance one of the receivers get hurt or one of their offensive linemen hurts an ankle and this that and other, they still have to prepare for an Indiana team who is coming off a high and has 2 weeks to prepare for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not going to bode well for Oklahoma. Alabama, I don't see them even stepping up to the plate. They actually had, for the Georgia game, they had 9 players on IR, 4 questionable. That's why they didn't. Now they have enough time to get healthy for this Oklahoma game, but they got the mollywop knocked out of them because, first of all, they didn't have all their soldiers, and second of all, Ty Simpson was almost like Julian saying, and
Yeah.
his mind wasn't thinking about actually winning the game. He was thinking about, can I make it to the Heisman Trophy? Well, you can't make it to the Heisman Trophy if you're not throwing passes and you're not running the plays. So that's why he screwed up, and that's why Sand screwed up. We'll get to that later. So
So
if Alabama plays Indiana, I'm taking no matter what out of that bracket, whoever plays Indiana is going to lose.
so
They're
between
going to
Oklahoma
lose.
and Alabama, either one of them, you
Either
think
one of them
Indiana
is
is
going to
that
lose
good?
against Indiana because Indiana is going to already be prepared to and healthy enough. Because Cooper is going to come back. Cooper got hurt, the receiver. That's 2 weeks of rehab to get him back on the field. Oh no, they got too many weapons for either one of those teams.
So SEC fans are saying, "Hey, Indiana, they're not Ohio State, even though we know they beat Ohio State, but they're saying SEC fans are saying no. Um, either one of those teams. This is Indiana's first time here in 58 years, and
Means absolutely
they
nothing.
don't have anything for them.
That
That's
means
what
absolutely
the
nothing.
SEC
That's
fans.
something in the second round, not in the first, not in the semifinals. No,
Hmm.
no.
Okay,
Because here's the problem with their premise. Oklahoma or Alabama, they have to beat each other up. Indiana is going to be on a 2-week bye. Now, when Indiana plays against Oregon or Texas Tech, it's only a one. They play immediately after that. So that would be that would be a challenge for Indiana. But the Oklahoma and Alabama coming off of the first round, they're neither one of them going to be able to compete with Indiana because first of all they're going to be beat up. Second of all, Indiana's going to have a 2-week bye to get healthy and get Cooper back on the field. And Becker, if they utilize Becker, come on guys, we didn't even see him coming. Nobody saw him coming. So no, Indiana will defeat either one of those teams coming out of that bracket.
okay. So now we go down the line. Oregon, JMU. You think Oregon got anything? If Oregon wins, they play Texas Tech. Who you got in that matchup?
Cakewalk. Oregon is going to just, put the beat down on James Madison, which would allow their second string and get their first string off the field and start preparing for Texas Tech. Texas Tech is going to be on just like Indiana is going to be on a 2-week bye, and they will be preparing. They can only prepare for Oregon. They will not prepare for James Madison. So if their focus is just on Oregon and James Madison beats an Oregon, they're not going to be prepared for James Madison. That's not going to be the case though. Oregon's going to beat the snot out of James Madison, play against Texas Tech, and give Texas Tech a run for their money. I will say though, we've got 3 bites at the apple, and I would love for Oregon to beat Texas Tech and play Indiana in the semifinals. But it might be too much of a climb for Oregon to beat Texas Tech.
Okay, so go back because I think I missed who you picked for Oregon, and so you're not even giving JMU a
I'm taking
chance.
Oregon. Yeah, I'm taking Oregon.
picking
I'm going to
Oregon?
move past James Madison. James Madison is a blip.
Okay,
They're
so
going
you're
to be
picking.
practice. That's all going to be practice for Oregon.
So you're picking
That's
Oregon. Okay, you're picking
That's all
Oregon.
practice. And what
Playing
I was saying was
Texas Tech.
Oregon Oregon's going to put in their second string, third strings, just the rest their first
I'm
string.
not talking about that game anymore. I'm
What are
asking
we
you,
talking?
Oregon and Texas Tech. Okay, we're saying you're saying JMU is not even going to get there. That
That's
Oregon's
it.
going to beat the snot out of them.
Oh,
So,
I think
so
we were back. Were we on the Texas A&M and Miami game?
no. We're still at Oregon, and so I'm asking you, because you were saying I was doing each team if they were to play Texas Tech. Who did you have? But since you're just not giving JMU a chance,
No,
we're just doing
no,
Oregon.
no, and no.
So
They're not
Oregon.
going to make it. They're not. They're listen. They might not score 9 points against Oregon.
So now Oregon and Texas Tech. I missed your pick there.
I'm taking Texas Tech because
Oh,
Oregon.
the Oregon.
I don't think they're going to be really prepared for a rested Texas Tech team.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, um, I don't. You know, coming off even if they mollywop James Madison, they only have 1 week to prepare for Texas Tech. Texas Tech have 2 weeks to prepare for them. And they're going to watch the film on them throughout the year and against James Madison. So when Oregon plays Texas Tech, they're going to know all their tendencies and everything like that. And unless Oregon's defense can step up, which I don't think they're capable of doing, they got a good offense, but not a good defense. They're not going to be able to stop Texas Tech at all. So I'm taking Texas Tech to play. Go ahead.
No, that's interesting. I mean, I'm so excited for these games to start. I just
Me
can't
too.
wait. But I'm with you though, and again, I'm not dismissing Tulane or JMU. Trust me, I'm not. Again, I just think a couple of games are probably just going to be a little boring, no competition. So
But
anyway,
that Texas A&M and Miami game going to be kind of interesting too,
yeah,
though.
I said some. So now speaking of them, let's go down to them. All right, here go the big boys. Okay. Ohio State, number 2. Yeah, we'll talk about probably number 2. Number 2, Ohio State. Texas A&M, they go to Ohio State. Who you got?
Texas A&M against Miami. I'm going to tell you one
No,
thing.
we already did that. We did Miami. We did that. Now we're going over to the left
So we
side.
didn't. I didn't went on like I was getting ready to give you a synopsis. I want Texas A&M in there playing against Ohio State.
Okay, so I'm asking you, if Texas
So
A&M, we did those predictions already, but now I'm going over to the right side. If Texas A&M wins and they play Ohio State, who you got?
Ohio State, of course.
Okay, number 10, Miami, they play Ohio State. Who you got?
Ohio State, of course.
Okay,
And I can tell you why on both occasions.
I'd like to hear that.
First of all, you got Ohio State now again, just like the rest of the top 4, is going to be on bye weeks. They'll be able to stabilize their offensive coordinator position, whether they kick Hartline to the curb and bring Chip Kelly back in, or Ryan Day actually takes over the play calling. They're gonna stabilize that. They're definitely gonna stabilize that. There was a lot of commotion and controversy over the Hartline hiring. I think he did the right thing by that. What they should have did was allowed him to go do him. And because what happened was um, Julian Sayin looked like he was in the middle of a divorce, and he had no idea what he needed to do, whether he's supposed to. Because if you notice, the playbook kept on going back from hand to hand. Hardline had the playbook, then they had the playbook, then Hardline got the playbook, and then they took the playbook back, and then Hardline got the playbook in the red zone, and it just, Julian was confused, and the rest of the team was confused also. So that's going to be resolved. Texas A&M, they've came off that loss. Literally, they could have had an undefeated season, and they crap their pants. Miami been sitting around for the last month waiting to play a game. They didn't get an ACC. Now they got to rev themselves up to play against Texas A&M, who is a formidable opponent who can literally put the wax on them. So with Texas A&M playing Ohio State is going to give them the business and secure themselves into the semifinals. Because whatever this is not the semifinals. It's the first round, second round, semifinals, and finals.
Right.
And championship. I think that's how it was working. But the point is, Ohio State's going to advance, and they're going to leave them behind. And if we're going to go into the Georgia game,
we're not there yet. We ain't there yet. Okay, so now my opinion on that is anybody on this left side of the bracket, anybody who goes to see Ohio State after they've lost their championship game, I feel sorry for you because they got something for you. Okay, so anybody on this side, this left side, Texas A&M or Miami, neither one of you want to see the Ohio State when they're angry, when they're upset with themselves. They got something for you. If you don't believe me, just watch what happened last year. Just start at the Tennessee game. Okay, you can actually start with the Michigan game. You want to go there, you can start there, and then every game after that. So next, Ole Miss and Tulane. If Ole Miss wins, who you got? They play Georgia.
You got to take a Georgia. You got to take Georgia because I'd love to see Ohio State and Georgia play. Now, that's a wish, but Ole Miss can easily beat a Georgia on a neutral field. See, these next games, those next games are neutral fields. Ole Miss is going to host Tulane at their crib. Texas A&M is going to host Miami at their crib. Oregon is going to host James Madison at their crib. You see what I'm saying? Oklahoma is going to host Alabama at their crib. Those are advantages for the home field. But when you go to neutral sites, Ole Miss and Georgia, Ole Miss can easily creep up in there and beat a Georgia. Easily.
And so now I think I would have said that before all this Lane Kiffin stuff. Because I don't know who's going to play, who's going to opt out, who's not.
But they still got their offensive coordinator. Lane Kiffin was the head. He was the CEO of that school, of the team.
Right.
The person who was running the offense, and they kept the defensive coordinator also. They both are going to LSU, but they retained the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator. Those were the ones who were actually running the show anyway. With that being said, if I don't know who's going to make the ultimate decisions. Like Lane Kiffin would make the ultimate decisions.
Yeah,
Are we
so that has to be worked out.
on the 3-yard line? Are we gonna kick a punt? Are we gonna do this, that, and other? That's gonna be something that they're gonna have to deal with. But they still retain their offense and defensive coordinators to play in the playoffs. So that's why I said on a neutral field, and not at Mercedes-Benz, Georgia it could be something special because they're not going to be playing in Mercedes-Benz.
So who are you
That's
taking?
Georgia excel. Mercedes-Benz, Alabama did the same thing.
On Miss playing Georgia, you're taking on Miss?
Oh, I'm taking Georgia.
Oh, you're gonna take Georgia. Okay.
I'm saying, Miss can literally give them a game.
Okay, and Tulane, you don't see that if they win, you don't see them getting past on Miss.
No, they get a participation trophy for showing up, which this is why it pisses me off. Those two teams could have been seated in a second tier playoff with the same bowls, the Liberty Bowl, the Outback Bowl, this bowl, the Shreveport, and all that. Put them in a different category. They still going to the bowls, but the bowls would matter because the top of the line bowl would be maybe the Citrus Bowl. You get my point? Instead of putting Michigan and somebody else in the Citrus Bowl, fight for it. Fight for the Citrus Bowl. Everybody wants to go to Florida. So you put them all, you see them properly, and they have a second tier playoff, and then whoever wins gets to go to the Citrus Bowl. Win-win.
So Blue Nitty said in the comments, them lights ain't going to be so bright for saying either. He said, I am with Lady Buck. So he's saying he's with when I made the statement, you really don't want to see us right now. And then he put Bulldogs. So he's going with the Dogs. If they're to go up against Ole Miss. Now, I'm going to say, watching Georgia play the way they played Bama, and not watching Bama really, but just watching Georgia. Georgia looked good on Saturday. They looked real good. So, but they've been iffy. They've been iffy to me this season. Yeah, they've been iffy to me. I don't think they're the Georgia that everybody thinks they are. They're not. Right. It's just not that championship team, Georgia. I think they can fall. And I'm not going to be so surprised that Ole Miss does it. I think Ole Miss might pull up this upset. This is going to be an upset. And I'm going to call it right now. Georgia's not going to the show. They're not. So.
Wouldn't you like to have Georgia, Ohio State play?
No,
I would love that.
I want a rematch. I don't like
that. I want that smoke.
No, I want a rematch. I would like to see two Big Ten in there. I would like to see Ohio State and Indiana go back at it so they can face the real team. They didn't face us. So I'd like to see that. But at this point, it's anybody. We can handle anybody. So because they think we can't. They're basing who the Buckeyes are on our last performance. And that's the mistake that everybody made that played us after we lost to Michigan last year. They made a mistake on basing who we were due to the Michigan loss. And we came out and showed them, hey, we're hope this is, we didn't have this plan for the playoffs, so.
Last year, we had to go 4 games. This year we got 3 games.
Yeah, we get a break this time. So you think it's gonna be hard for us? No, we had to do 4 games, all top 4 teams, and ran through them. We didn't just beat them by 2 or 3. No. Just go back and watch it. Y'all will see. So we gotta talk about everybody else. So now before I move on, who do you see in the national championship? Not who you want to see. Who do you see in the national championship, Buckeye Bill? And this is early. We know it's early.
I see Big Ten championship rehashed.
That's what you see?
I see it rehashed. I see an Indiana Ohio State championship
Okay.
battle. First of all, you got to understand that would be the moneymaker. So let's get there. Let's do the moneymaker. Let's think about the fact that Indiana can beat either one of the teams that's coming against them, even the Texas Tech. If they get past an Oklahoma, Alabama, they can beat Texas Tech
Oh,
straight.
we smacking Alabama.
So with that being said, you'll see an Ohio State, Indiana national championship, Ohio State winning the whole chip, cause uh, it ain't gonna be the same. They won't be
No, no,
playing.
no,
It
no,
won't be the same, son.
no.
That's all it is.
So, Nitty, good evening. Thank you for joining.
What's
So,
happening?
you heard our picks. You got any different viewpoints?
Nope. I'm just gonna sit back and chill, enjoy these games. You know how we do.
Yeah, it's
You
gonna
know
be
what I'm saying?
fun.
It's
I
gonna be
hope
interesting.
again. Now, let me ask your opinion though, Nitty, on Tulane and James Madison. This seems to be a big uproar, and again, there's no disrespect for these two teams. Look, they can't help who they play. They can't help what the committee
What
did.
the
So
conference
be
is?
easy on these kids. These are kids, people. So be easy when you say the things you say about the team. You may feel like they don't have enough or this. That's your opinion. That's fine, but don't. Be easy on the kids. You know,
Hmm.
they're kids. They can't help it that the committee chose them you know, to be in the
I
playoffs.
mean,
You know, so
I mean, I could be yelling at the top of my young lungs and everything because my
your
Notre
team.
Dame, my Notre Dame Irish didn't get in, but that's just how it is.
Now,
Maybe next year.
wait a minute. Hold on. Stop right there because I got to ask you a question. I forgot you were Notre Dame. So they didn't get in. And of course, now I think they should have gotten in. But how do you feel about Marcus Freeman and the team? Because it's not just, and another thing, stop just putting it on Marcus Freeman. They came to that conclusion as an administration. Okay. He
Hmm.
doesn't have that much power, guys, for y'all to be just saying, oh, he's this and he's that. He doesn't have that much power. Okay. He works for them. So I'm sure they came to a conclusion on what they wanted to do
As a
um,
as a as a
as,
program
a, yeah, as a
themselves.
program. Okay.
Right.
So how do you feel though, as a Notre Dame fan? Do you feel he did the right thing? Should he have played in the bowl game? Do you think the statement he's making, it does it look pouty? Does it look, it's been a lot of things being said. What do you think? I feel a little differently. What do you think?
Now, what he turned down another plan for another bowl game?
No, he opted out of the bowl game. They gave him a bowl game. They said, "Hey, you didn't make the playoffs, but here's the bowl you're going to." He took the team and
No,
said, "We're not playing in that bowl game. We out. We
no,
done."
no. It ain't no pouting. You know what I'm saying? Because he's standing up for what he believe in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody and their uncle said we should have been in, but that's the
Yeah.
way it goes. You know what I'm saying? Next year when we start smacking people out the gate, then they're gonna be saying, "Oh, they trying to beat." No, we just doing us. Y'all gypped us last year. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, they punishing Notre Dame for being independent.
Of course they are.
You know what I'm saying? But in return, we saying we don't need your money. Keep that.
Okay.
And
Keep
Okay.
you know
that.
what?
So
That
now,
is fair. That is fair. That's fair.
do you think, because what I've heard today, and just by looking at the story today and really just watching everybody's vibes from it, some people said that, well, that was really a cowardly, I heard the word cowardly move.
No.
But wait a minute, I'm just telling you what they said. Now y'all can defend it. It was a cowardly move. Um, they didn't think that that was the right leadership move to show your teammates. Um, I mean, not your teammates, but your team that's playing under you. Of course, again, they're putting it all on Marcus Freeman. What do you guys feel about that? Do you think he made a statement and stood up for his team? Do you think any of the team is upset that they're not playing in the bowl game that they gave them? What do y'all think about that? Was this a cowardly move?
No,
No.
okay. Before you go, Nitty, because I'm gonna give you the
Go ahead.
pre,
Go ahead. Do your thing.
because at the end of the day, they kept on saying the seniors, the freshmen, not giving them an opportunity, which I said earlier, I believe, another game to play in, and the recruitment. Okay, but again, the statement they're making is you gonna have to rearrange y'all's decision on this playoff deal. Because if Notre Dame is not in the playoffs and Notre Dame ain't in the playoffs every year, there's a problem. Especially if Notre Dame is one of the top 25 teams in the. Now, if they 35 and they just fell off completely, they ain't got nothing to say. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing to say. But if you are seeded in the top 25 and you're Notre Dame, the only independent team in the whole nation, they got to be in the playoffs. Now, for him to rescind the offer, yes, that do hurt some of his recruiting. It hurts the seniors who would have played an additional game. Who's to say that the seniors really wanted to go out there and get beat up over no game? Who's to say the seniors don't want to just start practicing and getting ready for the draft? Who's to say that the seniors said, you know what? Listen, guys, this ain't worth it. You see, so the heads out there who wants to say Notre Dame did this wrong, Notre Dame should have did this, that, you ain't in those shoes. And I guarantee you, Marcus Freeman sat there with his seniors and his captains and said, hey guys, what y'all want to do? And I bet you they voted on like, nah, coach, I don't think this is right, man. They doing us wrong. I don't want to play. And if you get half of your team not wanting to play, you ain't playing. That's it. That's all. You can't go into a game and half the players don't want to really play the game. Everybody gonna get hurt. So I'd be no. Everybody gonna sit down. We're gonna prepare for next year. Seniors be preparing for the draft or your next move in grad school, whatever you're gonna do, and we're gonna retool and get at it. So there where I go back to you, Nitty. This is why I say to you, Nitty, shouldn't there be a second tier playoff? Instead of expanding it to 24 to 65 and all this, have a second tier playoff. The guys that didn't make it, because it would have been the James Madisons and Tulanes and Texas and this, that, and other. Now they're seeded just like Ohio State, Indiana, Texas Tech, and Georgia in the next tier. And then you get the South Floridas, you get this Syracuse and Clemson's into a different tier. That gives them a reason to fight to get into a bowl game and keep the bowl system. Keep the bowl system. And then the big caveat, whether you take it to Hawaii or the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, that's what you fighting for. Like they did the Rose Bowl, the big daddy of them all. You know what I'm saying? Listen, you
Mm-hmm.
get the at the Citrus Bowl or in Hawaii if you win your tournament, the one that you didn't get in the big tournament, and then if you win that tournament, you're head to head with a Notre Dame who have the right to get into the tournament because of their record and things of that nature. that would eliminate the Tulanes and the James Madison dilemma, but keep the Tulane and James Madison relevant,
Mm-hmm.
and that gives them
And it
something
make,
to work towards. Not you know that Division two championship. No, this ain't a Division two championship. This is like the 64 the March Madness and the NIT.
mm-hmm.
Most of the team that went to NIT is going to be in March Madness this year because they played extra games and they honed their skills. Man, come on, man. That's the solution. That's the
That sounds
solution.
that sounds too much like right, Buckeye Bill.
I'm just saying, man. I'm not, I'm not the expert. You guys are the expert. I'm just giving
No,
you, a little bit of tidbits and a little bit of knowledge to try and understand how the situation can be resolved if you
I'm
do
with you
it
when you're right.
or even tweak it.
I'm with you when you're right. But before I get into how I feel about what they saying, I got one question. Anybody heard from Hayes?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, I
Where
just
you
want to
at,
see if
big
my
brother?
home.
Where you at, man? They calling for you, son.
That I was wondering, I was just checking to see because I was going, I still want to, I still want to wear that shirt even though I won.
I want to know where Lando is too.
Oh, yeah.
Where you at,
I'll let both
Lando?
of them
What's
know.
happening, baby?
I'll let
Now
them know. Y'all ready? Y'all got some crap to talk, so I'll let Hayes know. Hayes is probably watching, so but
that's why I said it.
I'll let
That's
him
why
know.
I said it.
What,
But
what was
no,
that? What was that? You had a shirt to wear?
no. You see, we had a bet, Bill. You wasn't see, Bill.
Tell him the
Buckeye
bet.
Bill.
The bet,
The
nigga.
bet
I
was
don't supposed to pay attention to your bet.
no. They had you to listen,
No,
listen.
she's the producer. I'm not. Go.
No, listen. No, the bet was between. The bet was that you got that mute button ready, Tam. I mean, Lady Buck.
I'll mute myself.
Yes, I got it.
I'm just messing with you. Hey, no, check it out on the real. The bet was Hayes was gonna make a shirt. He's gonna make a shirt. The winner was gonna wear. I guess he's gonna make two shirts. The winner wear a certain shirt, and the loser he's gonna make them a special shirt that they had to wear, especially on air.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna put this out here.
Oh, he'll do it.
I still want the shirt.
Yeah, he
It might
will.
say it might say something different, but I still want the shirt because I want a shirt because I want to represent Hayes Company.
Well, I'll connect the two. I'll connect the two of you.
That's fair, bro. That's fair,
Okay.
man. That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
But
some great products. I mean, they are top tier.
Yes.
And we'll
Yes.
talk about that when we announce our small business
yeah,
thing that we're doing. So,
but back to Notre Dame, right? When we started this journey, we said there's people that look at football, but they don't watch it. Those are the people, and I want to know who's the people talking about. Well, Marcus Freeman should have did this. Marcus Freeman should have did that. Number one, y'all try to fire Marcus Freeman.
bunch of them.
Y'all try to fire Marcus Freeman his first year.
Right.
Yeah.
Y'all tried to fire Marcus Freeman.
And I
So
don't
y'all
like
really,
Marcus Freeman anymore because of my own personal reasons. But that's okay.
yeah, I feel that. I feel that. But it's like my whole thing is number one, y'all done got spoiled on the microwave. Y'all want stuff yesterday.
Yeah.
It don't work like that. Us people that watch these sports, we know.
Right.
We know how it go.
Yeah.
Now, far as if he had went to that bowl game, then they would have been talking about, oh, he chumped out. He don't stand up for his team. He ain't got no backbone.
Right.
And one thing you know about Notre Dame, if they called the team, y'all hit the nail on the head. They called the team meeting. Even the Chancellor, the what they call it, even the Chancellor was in that meeting when they
Yeah.
made that
That's
decision.
right.
It's not Marcus Freeman. He didn't make the sole decision. This is what I know they know better than that. You know, I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if some of the team said, hey, I don't want to do it. If they
no,
want
yeah,
to bring it up,
yep,
hey, do whatever you want, coach, but I don't want to go to, the
yep.
Alamo Bowl or the Cheez-Its Bowl or whatever, you know.
And they making a stand that y'all got to fix your system.
Yeah, it's got to be fixed.
You
So
know
it's
what I'm saying?
another.
Y'all got to fix that. And I'm not saying that because my squad didn't make it, because that's the way the game go. If that's the system they want to run. But like I said, my thing is, number one, he did what a head coach is supposed to do. If that had been my child playing on that football squad, I don't care if he was a senior, a fifth year senior, whatever. I probably would have been I probably would have drunk a 6-pack of beer with Marcus Freeman for that one, because
And
he's
the thing is that the thing is, you honor your commitments, but when the commitment doesn't honor you, you can back out of that. Because they have been telling Notre Dame there was no way on earth they was going to be left out of the playoffs for 5 weeks. Every time that they had the rankings, they kept on telling them there's no way Notre Dame. Now Miami, oh yeah, Texas, oh yeah, they but they never, nobody ever said Notre Dame would not be, until they waited until this weekend to say head to head. They never mentioned head to head for 5 weeks. They never did. And then they did head to head, and they put Miami. BYU loses, puts Miami ahead of Notre Dame, and kicks Notre Dame out of the playoffs, and gives Tulane and James Madison their spot. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to not any of the chancellor, the administration, the kids, the coach, the fan base. Nothing. It didn't make sense.
two
So
plus two is 6.
why would you honor something that they're not honoring?
Two
That's,
plus two
you know
is
what I'm
6.
saying? That's like taking 2 smacks in the mouth. We gonna get smacked in the mouth and then go and do something cause we have to do it, and get smacked again. Because their heart's not gonna be in it. You showing up to a game with half kids, the kids ain't gonna be in, their heart ain't gonna, the coaching staff ain't gonna be into it, the fan base ain't gonna show up. Cause I ain't going there, I ain't gonna spend all my money to go where? Shreveport? I'm gonna spend all my money to go to Shreveport. I ain't doing that.
The
So
crime
they
rate
did
is high up there.
they made the right decision
The
for their
crime
fan
rate is
base
high.
not to spend extra money, for their team not to spend extra effort, for them to retool, get themselves together, and then politic on why they will never be out of the playoffs ever again, whether they're independent or have to join the Big Ten or the ACC. Those are the next steps.
They also let me say this too. Also, you want Notre Dame to spend money to transport our players and staff up there for less money. I'm not. Don't get me
Because the
wrong.
bowl
That's
game that
good.
you're going to is not going to give you the $4 million. The bowl game, like the
That,
Shreveport, is going to give you $2 million for the
and
conference.
where's
So
Shreveport at?
if the teams, if say for instance Ohio State or um,
Louisiana.
Northwestern goes to a bowl game, and that bowl game gives you $4 million or $2 million. That means it has to be distributed amongst not the Big Ten, but the rest of the leagues, which is USC, UCLA, Rutgers, Maryland, all the other teams that you see what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
get pittance.
Yep.
You get pittance off of a $2 million or $4 million bowl game, unless you get most of your teams out of the Big Ten in the bowl games. It's not worth it.
Hey, Buckeye Bill, let me ask you this question. This is a rhetorical question. Where's Shreveport at?
Louisiana.
The crime rate is really bad right now. They done had an escape convict and everything. See, that's the thing
They
that
had 10 people jump up out of Shreveport.
yeah,
What
they
you
they,
talking
they
about? That's not
Louisiana's a
even the point. I don't care nothing about that. The
no
point
no
is,
no no.
it's in the
He
middle
making
of
a point.
nowhere. No. The point.
Buckeye Bill, slow down. What I'm saying is, you want us to go somewhere to where instead of going to fighting for the chip in the playoff where we know it's gonna be safe for our fans. This is what y'all people that's running your mouth about didn't think about. Safety. Shreveport is a basket case right now. Louisiana is a basket case right now.
I feel what you're saying now.
See, so no, turn that down. We good. And Marcus Freeman, if you ever hear this, you good at my books. You
Yeah,
good at my book, son.
yeah. I think he knew he was gonna get. He knew, the administration knew that he was gonna catch a lot of flack. Him only. You know, you don't see the people behind the closed doors. You know, but it's all gonna come on him. But he knew. He's strong enough to handle that kind of criticism. So, again, they'll still be Notre Dame next season, and nobody will play them any differently because they opted out of a bowl game. So, before we end the show tonight, I wanted to bring your attention to these bowl games. This is a few of, because there's still more, but these are the big bowl games, the Big Ten. Wanted to bring your attention here. And so we'll do some predictions later on as we get closer to the dates. The first one, December 13th.
Yeah, we can do those tomorrow because
Yeah.
that's a lot to talk about right there.
Yeah.
That's
So
a lot to talk about.
yeah. Or
Lady
even
Buck,
next week.
I got one more question too. This is off topic. My son said he made a comment about me wearing that other mask. Can y'all hear me clear with this one?
Yeah, but I got another suggestion for you though. But we'll talk about it offline.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just DM her, man. Hey, listen, I love you as the mass villain.
Yeah, because
Well, him and my
mass villain, boy.
he's a villain.
look, him and his fiance, they gave me this. They're like,
Okay.
here, Pop, you use this.
Yeah,
All right.
I hear you,
That's
but,
what's up. That's what's up.
but
I
we'll
call
talk-
you the mass villain. That's who you are to me, man. You my arch nemesis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, so now when hey Buckeye Bill, so now when I have my operation, I'm gonna be I'm not gonna cam up. I'll cam up for a second just to let y'all know, so y'all know it's me. But
yeah, we know. It'll be because it'll be some weeks.
Yeah.
Before you look like yourself. So
Hey, listen up. I'm gonna
we
tell
know.
you one thing. You are the show, and thank you for being part of this show, man. And all the ones that want to come on later on throughout the playoffs, the draft, the March Madness. We on fire all the way into the end of the NBA Finals. We probably will take a month off and then start back up for college football. But we on fire, guys. Get part of the flavor, man. This is the show. Your show. Let's go. We ain't just bucked up. We all about this. We about that
All about
business.
that business.
Let's go.
So for all of you, we're going to end the show on that note, but let me just say this. For all of you Indiana, or I'll call you IU Wolverines, okay? I want y'all to see where y'all at. Look where y'all, worry about you. Worry about you. Don't worry about what we doing. Look, y'all at the Cheez-Its Bowl. December 31st. Ain't nobody going to be, we don't care if it's Texas.
Right.
And Texas going to beat you. So listen. Don't worry about where the big boys are at. Worry about where this is the league you in right here.
Right there. Okay? That's why I said we got a lot to talk about there.
Yeah,
we got a lot to talk about there, baby.
Because one thing I need you to remember, look, just like this is Jack Sawyer last year when we won it all. And like he said, we could quit like everyone wanted us to, like we knew everyone wanted us to, but instead we just became the best team in the country. And that's just what's getting ready to happen again. Okay?
That's what's up.
So IU Wolverines,
keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
And watch the show. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay? Because we get ready to do it again. With that being said, we out. We about that business. Like, follow, subscribe, share. Good night.
Peace.
Thank you very much, guys.
Peace and
Synesthetic.
I'm trying to win my team a championship. I'm trying to win my team a championship. Let's go. Trying to win my team a championship. We all in the game, trying to get us some ranks. They ballin' the pay. Should I do what you can? Hey, Block is the name, BMG is the guy. Hey, yeah, but we working. Hey, yeah, but we working. They practice make perfect. Hey, practice make perfect. Trying to win my team a championship. Yeah, and we score every chance that we get. Take advantage of handles, it's all in the wrist. Got shooters on the squad. Perfect aiming up Swiss. Got shooters on the squad. Trying to win my team a championship. Everybody is playing their roles. They watch out post.